Hi friends! So welcome to my channel. I'm Kendall. Hi, how are ya? So today I'm going to be doing a bariatric tips video. A girl in the support group for where I had my surgery asked for some tips, and I thought it'd be easiest to just make a video, and then I was kind of like, well, hey, I could just do this on YouTube. So here I am. So why don't we just get started, right? So I guess I'll just start with like a little bit about my story. I was 17 when I had my surgery. I mean, I'm 18 now. So not that long ago. I had my surgery in April of 2019, which was 5 months ago. 4 or 5 months ago. So I was actually supposed to have it here in the States, in Georgia. I went through the long process, as I'm sure a lot of you know how it goes, and at the last minute, at the very, very, very last minute, probably 2 weeks before I was supposed to have my surgery, insurance said that they wouldn't cover bariatric surgery. So my mom and I were kind of like, well, what are we gonna do? We've invested all this time and I got all this education, and I mean, I was really invested in the idea of having this surgery. I really wanted it for myself. So we found a place in Tijuana, Mexico called Lighter Me. The name's changed now. I'll put the name somewhere, either on the screen or in the description. I'm pretty sure it's like EOC or something. But so I had gone to a Lighter Me in Tijuana, and I had the gastric sleeve, and everything was really great. I mean, 10 out of 10, really. I mean, it was really clean, it was really nice. They put you up in a hotel, you're there for 5 nights. Anyway, if you want, I can do a video about that. But yeah, so I had my gastric sleeve surgery at 17. My highest weight was 434, and now as of this morning I'm down to 333. So I'm officially down 101 pounds, so go me. But that puts a little introduction to why I'm doing a bariatric video. So I guess we can get started now. Okay, so the first tip is probably one of the most important. All of these tips are very important, so if you want to trust my tips, trust all of them, but you really need to listen. I mean, anyway, tip number 1 is protein. You need to get at least like 80 to 100 grams of protein a day. I know, like, after you did your pre-op and you had all your protein shakes, you're probably like, I don't want to touch another protein shake again. That's how I was, because I had a 4-week-long pre-op. But you need to drink your protein shakes. Put protein powder in everything you make. I mean, you need to get your protein. Find meats that have a lot of protein that you like. I know red meats don't have as much protein as meats like fish. Fish has a lot of protein. So, but if you're not a seafood person, you know, meat like chicken, I know the lighter meats have I think more protein than the red meats, because the red meats are fattier and heavier, and I'll get into that in the next topic. So with the second tip, everybody's different. But with me personally, and I'm sure some of you might be able to relate, but be careful with some of the meats that you are trying. So your palate is going to change after you have surgery. I know before, I guess before surgery I wasn't much of a red meat person. I never, I used to work at Longhorn, but I was never really much of a steak person. I always got chicken. I'd get steak once in a while. I loved ribs, pork, but now after surgery it's just so heavy and I just really can't do it anymore. Plus there's not as much protein in red meat. I really like salmon, and there's a lot of things you can do with salmon. You can make salmon patties. There's salmon fillets. Fish, like I said, has a lot of protein, so fish is my best friend. There's a lot of bariatric recipes you can do, and maybe later on in surgery later on after surgery you can switch from just plain low carb to keto, which is higher fat, but that's all based on your tolerance for the type of meats you can handle, because I'm still pretty iffy on like red meats. It really just depends on the amount, because sometimes with red meat I can't get more than 3 bites, and that's not enough protein. So just be careful with the type of meats that you're eating. I would say tip number 3. I said tip number 1 was really important, but I want to say tip number 3 is the most important, because I see this a lot in the Facebook group that I had mentioned in the beginning. A lot of people don't know this, and that's okay. It's okay to, not know, because a lot of people have, gone their whole lives drinking soda, but carbonation, just don't. And a lot of people back it up by saying, oh, well, there's no scientific evidence to prove that the bubbles will expand your sleeve. Well, I don't think you'd want that scientific evidence to end up being you. I haven't touched a soda. I stopped drinking soda probably 5 months before my surgery, because I knew I'd have a problem with it, because I used to drink maybe 3 Cokes a day, and that's not good for anybody, no matter what size they are. The sugar, the carbonation, the caffeine, that's nasty. I can't think about drinking a Coke ever again. Carbonation, I see people asking about sparkling water. No, it's not about the sugar. It is about the sugar, but the carbonation is the issue that they're worried about. Regular water is your friend. Water is your best friend. Water is your ally. And if maybe in the beginning, you're not as accustomed to water, which now water tastes amazing now. There's, Crystal Light. If you're into Crystal Light, you can do, decaf tea with like a bunch of equal. But water is your friend. And I also see a lot of people asking about the magnesium citrate. They use it for as an equivalent to an enema, to flush you out. That's carbonated. I guess if enemas don't work for you and you have to do mag citrate, I just don't do it every time, because I saw somebody say it tastes just like Sprite, but it's like, if you're drinking it like Sprite, no. Like, you need to stay. Mag citrate is carbonated, so if you can avoid using mag citrate and just, do an enema for that, then do that, because the mag citrate is carbonated. And you may be thinking, well, it's, going through my intestines. Well, it has to get to your stomach to get to your intestines. So I just say stay away from it altogether. But like I said, I'm not an expert, and if you don't want to listen to an 18-year-old, you don't have to. Also, I forgot to mention, for the carbonation, it's not to say you can't have a beer or some champagne, for a special event, but you have to be careful with your intake. You can't go back to drinking, 3 Cokes a day, or 3 beers a day. You have to. It's self-control, it's accountability, it's self-discipline. You have to be able to tell yourself when to stop. You're out with the boys. Oh, that's my limit. Plus, alcohol is going to hit you differently. Alcohol hits you much quicker than it did before. I believe it's 1 ounce now is equivalent to 3 ounces before. So I believe it was like a shot of beer is like a shot of vodka before. So you need to be careful with alcohol in general. And alcohol also stops ketosis. So not that alcohol and carbonation are in the same category. I probably should have made another tip for alcohol, but you really need to be just as careful with alcohol, if not more. I'm still not at the drinking age, so I'm not like going out. I'm not like having a glass of wine every night, but you need to be just as careful with both of them, because a lot of alcohol does have carbonation, so just be self-aware. So the next tip, I kind of wanted everything to kind of coincide with the previous one, kind of. So the next tip is caffeine. I know caffeine, we might love our coffee. I've never really been a coffee person, but I used to get my caffeine from like Cokes and like Diet Mountain Dews, and I used to have like a soda every morning because I would get caffeine headaches because I was drinking caffeine so much. Caffeine really, caffeine's not good for anybody really at all. But you're really not supposed to have caffeine after surgery. Your body you're practically missing a stomach. There's still a little bit there depending on what you have, but caffeine, isn't absorbed the same. So, if you're drinking the same amount of caffeine as you were before surgery, it might be affecting, your sleeve or your bypass. And I know bypass is much more intense than the sleeve. You're not even supposed to have sugar. You're not supposed to have sugar on the sleeve anyway, because that's carbs, but like, I know with the bypass it's much more intense. So if you can avoid caffeine, like with the carbonation, stay away from the caffeine. Another tip I have is don't weigh every day. Oh, that rhymes. Don't weigh yourself every day. It's just gonna break your psyche down. It doesn't feel good if, you've gone up a pound from the day before, if you weigh every day, and it's just because, you forgot to poop an extra time the day before, or, you ate a heavier meat the day before, and it, affected your body differently. Weighing every day isn't the way to go. Pick a day every week, like every Sunday or every Tuesday. Just pick a day in the morning to weigh yourself, and because spreading it out gives your body time to, have its ebbs and flows, because every day, your body goes through different changes, especially for women. There's on our periods when we're bloating, and, it's just a lot. You can't do it every day. It takes too much out of your head, and then if you're like, oh no, I gained a pound, what did I do this for? And then you're gonna go down a spiral, and then it might, lead to some of your old habits. So just pick a day, put it on your calendar, and then you can, maybe look forward to it. It's like, oh, it's finally time for me to weigh. I get to see, all the progress I made. And that's another thing. Any progress is progress. If you only lost 2 pounds, that's 2 pounds less than you weighed before. I mean, it's not like you're never gonna get to your goal weight. You don't not get to your goal weight by, not losing 2 pounds at a time. So I guess just keep that in mind. Okay, so this next tip is the harder one to process, I guess. A lot of you may know it already, but it's really hard for some people to digest it or really realize it, and that's that they need to stay away from carbs. Carbs are the carbs are what got us here, they're your worst enemy. It's kind of, they're your frenemy. They make you feel good for a little while, and then they, kind of shit on you. Carbs are what got us here, so we need to stay away from them. We really need to only be, after surgery, we need to really only be eating meat, heavy-dense protein, and non-starchy vegetables. That's it. And I believe it's 6 ounces total for every meal, depending on what you can handle. That's 6 ounces is after you're healed up. It's what I remember, what my nutritionist here in the States told me. So take my advice, don't take my advice. So for my last tip, I know, sorry to see me go, is you can't return to your old habits after surgery. This is a tool. This isn't, oh, I'm skinny now, I'm, gonna lose all the weight in the world, I can eat whatever I want. That's not how it works. You have to follow protocol. I was a binge eater. I used to hide food under my bed, and I can't do that anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't have the same relationship with food as I used to, and I never thought I would ever say that. we're food addicts, and it's hard to say that. Not for me anymore, but for some of us it may be really hard to, come out and just say, I have a food addiction, because we didn't get here by not being addicted to food. I mean, we didn't. Sure, some of it may be genetic, but we kept putting on pounds after, some of those genetics. We contributed to the genetic, mark. See a counselor if you need help. It's okay. I just moved, but I still go back. I drive 3 hours to see my food addictions counselor because she's amazing. And I mean, I'm so happy to do it because she's helped me so much. And I mean, she's just helped me in ways that I never thought I could be helped. So talk to somebody. See a food addictions counselor. See a counselor that specializes in eating disorders. It's okay to get help. I mean, if you seek out the problem, you're winning, because you're trying to, get rid of the dark passenger. But you're not a loser. You're not losing this battle if you seek help. You're in control if you seek help. So just remember that. You are in control. Period. Okay? You're in control. So, I don't know if you would consider this a bonus tip, but this is for anybody considering having surgery. Do it. If you want this surgery, I don't care if you feel like you need this surgery medically, have it. This helped me so much. I mean, I never thought I could say I lost 100 pounds in 4 months, but here I am, and I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I'm so happy. I feel so free, and I have my sleeve. I have myself to thank. I have Dr. Ortiz to thank. I mean, I don't know where I would be right now if I didn't have my surgery. I probably would be up 100 pounds and not down. So if that puts it in perspective. But yeah, do it. What do you have to lose? Pounds. That's what you have to lose. So, those are my tips for bariatric surgery, what to do after, things you need to stick to, things you need to do, things you need to not do. I really hope these tips helped you. If you want any more tips, if you're having trouble with something, if you want to see anything else, just, let me know. Leave it down in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, I guess, all that mumbo jumbo that everybody else says. Like I said before, my name's Kendall, and thank you so much for watching. Thanks.